I am sure that many have heard of lost episode creepypastas. They usually are just incredibly graphic episode that conveys such a fear for children that was never aired. Although some manage to sneak a viewing or owns one of these tapes. The most popular example of this is Squidward's End, in which Squidward takes his own life, hence the title. Of course, all these lost episode creepypastas are false. Yet I remember SpongeBob episode that was heavily altered, but still remains circulation to this day. This one is One Course Meal from Season 7. In the episode, Mr. Krabs finds out that Plankton is horrified of whales and uses it to his advantage. This is at least one of the popular episodes of the show, but due to its dark nature of the episode, even after the episode was heavily altered. Now, how could I have seen this episode before it was edited? It's simple, really. It's one of those 7 SpongeBob episodes that was revealed on the internet before it aired on TV. Always a big fan of the show. I was excited to see the idea of having SpongeBob episode premiere on the internet before television. I rapidly reloaded the Nickelodeon page and the episode came up. It was known as Plankton Got Served, which though it was eventually changed. Most of the episode was identical to the one that's circulated today. Plankton manages to break into the Krusty Krab, ties up Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. As he was about to finally get the secret formula from SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs' daughter Pearl walks in. This terrifies Plankton and causes him to run out. Plankton later claims his ancestors were eaten by whales, and that is why he fears them too. Mr. Krabs realizes that fear that Plankton has and decides to use it against him. He dresses up his daughter and begins following Plankton around, frightening him. Plankton decides that he can no longer take it and then decides to do the ultimate decision. Plankton decides to take his own life. Yes, it is still in the show today and you are free to watch it. Plankton waits for the bus, and as he still lies on the street, waiting to get run over. This is when SpongeBob comes over to try to convince him to continue his existence. This is where the alternation in the 2 versions begin. Plankton fails to heed SpongeBob's words and remains there. In the altered version that was shown, SpongeBob tells Plankton that it was Mr. Krabs as Pearl the whole time, and he gets up. In another altered version, SpongeBob says the same thing, but Plankton refuses to believe him. SpongeBob decides that the only thing he could do is show him the truth is to drag Mr. Krabs outside. Soon after he leaves, the typical red bus comes into speeding along. Plankton sits up and watches it hit him, and everything fades into darkness. Plankton finds himself standing on a single platform, looking over the darkness. In the darkness, he sees whales looking at him. All of his family members can be faintly make out, calling for him to jump down. Plankton looks above and sees a light, and a light that he scarcely believes. This would seem to represent heaven and hell. Plankton, resigned to his fate, and jumps down into the darkness. This is where the episode ends. And the traditional credits are shown for the episode, but prior to Plankton's descent into the darkness. Now, some of you may say about the show that was available online. Apparently not fast enough. After the episode was seen, I reloaded the page to find the altered version shown on my website. I kept reloading, curious of how I seen the first version. The only answer I can imagine for my viewing of the original episode was the creators uploading the wrong file, and moments later, uploading it recognized much. I may be the only one who saw this version. I truly don't know the sick ambitions of the creators of SpongeBob in mind with this episode. Why would a kid show portray death? Why would a kid show portray heaven and hell? Nonetheless, the unaltered episode and version is impossible to find. I've searched it as hard as I can, but I have failed to find anything legitimate about the episode that I have seen. People had once told me that I had only seen the altered version, and that they were too surprised about the dark themes played in the episode. Nonetheless, I know what I saw now. I know people would fail to believe me. People will accuse me of trying to scare people. People would say I have no evidence. There are no problems. There is no video evidence of this occurrence. I only saw it once. and it never occurred to me to do so much. I know the truth, and I want people to know as well. Maybe someday someone out there who sees this episode as well as I can confirm it. But until then, I hope you enjoy reading about my experience.